Evening, folks. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:05, so apologies for the delay. We are going to have a brief meeting tonight. As everybody knows, there is a state of emergency in Vermont, so we'd like to get everybody home safe and sound, and they need to take care of their babies, as Emily does, as do I. We'd like to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to jump to any changes to the agenda. All right, seeing none. Correspondence, I don't believe we had any, I know. And new business. Principal.
I asked the principals to not come, just to, most of them were on vacation anyways. I did want to ask you guys if you guys had any specific models for principals' reports moving this year. Do you want to maintain the status quo? Did you have some different versions that you'd like? Just want to know so I can let them know before the next one. And same for me, the superintendent's report as well.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't know if I can think of a model. I mean, I like what is reported out. What's your name? Priscilla Seth. I love hearing the different unique things that are happening in each of the schools, which is fantastic. A lot of stuff going on.
Bill has set it up structured by the elements of EQS that we're reporting out based on the different parts of EQS. So if that's how you want me to continue with that, if that works. I mean, I just was looking to do something new, and now's a good time to change up.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want it.
Yeah. I don't know if you'd be beholden to EQS.
No, it was just a way to structure it.
Yeah. Maybe if you had some other ideas, but Crystal, go ahead.
I just had a question. I thought I saw correspondence in our packet.
That's for the executive session.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
One brief comment on the principal's reports. Very often you read the whole principal's report, and then principal reports out exactly what they reported back to you again. It's like sitting and watching a PowerPoint presentation where somebody reads the PowerPoint to you. It's like one or the other. So I guess reporting the great detail is terrific, but when the whole thing gets parroted back to you, it makes reading it kind of redundant. So I would say, report a high point, or pick something that's really important, or pick something that you didn't include, or be much more brief in the report, and then talk about it. But try and work on the redundancy piece.
Yep.
Yeah, good point. Anybody else? All right, you sir.
Again, same there. I am in week 2. The metaphor of the water level being high is a good one for me. I figured out how to apply for provisional licenses and how to get board meetings warned, and that's about where I'm at right now. So there's a lot to do, and so yeah, we'll figure it all out. But Sue is also trying to figure it all out with that executive assistant part. She does some great support from other folks down in central office, and yeah, looking forward to continue to serve. I don't have anything specific right now. I do want to mention Greg had some information today that the PCB report came back on Leland and Gray. So I'll just share that real quick. There's only one spot at Leland and Gray where there are levels, and it's the water tank room, which is down on D level, and it's not a space that people use. It's the water tank room. And so, yeah, that's the only spot. So it's not habited.
And PCBs.
Yep. So it's got asbestos around the water tanks and PCBs. Probably not a great place to hang out. But yeah, so we're in the process of trying to figure out the water tank replacement anyway. So we'll see how that all shakes itself out. So, but that was the only spot, which was really good news.
Bob, can I ask you to repeat that? That was the only place there were PCBs in this building?
That is correct.
That's good to hear. And I think I heard, it's hard for me to hear what's going on in the room, but I think I heard folks say that that room also, we had to vacate that room from use many years ago because of asbestos on the tank that covers the tanks. So I think you guys just mentioned that too. So it's it's an unused room for faculty and staff and students.
Yep, it's a storage room, and it's the way the water tanks are. There's some systems in there. I mean, maintenance staff has to go in there from time to time to do maintenance on the water system, but that's really it. And then they're only in there for a brief period of time each time they do it.
So does that, I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep beating on this, but is there remediation required on that? I think you were talking about that, but I assume there is, but.
There is not remediation required, I don't believe, because it's not a habited space. However, we were in the process, so we have been for the last couple of years, of planning out the replacement of the water tanks,
right,
which would involve remediation on the asbestos. So I think we would kind of see as that all goes and then figure out what happens after that. But yeah, there's no other steps we have to take at this point. We'll be communicating out with the public the form letter that we get from the state around that fact that there's no student or adult spaces with levels, which is great news. And frankly, a little bit surprising, but great news. And so we're happy to have that move forward.
Great. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, the other piece of news that Greg shared was that he's continuing to meet with the fire safety folks around the sprinkler system. That one, the news is a little less good. And so he is continuing to meet this fall. I think he has a meeting at the end of August, September, to talk about where we go from here. He believes that we can do that in a multi-year step process, which means that we'll have to put some money in each year, but he'll get more information about that. But the first step would be to get a water tank for the sprinkler system to be stored, because we're on a well. You have to have a storage tank for the water, and then start working on the actual sprinkler installation, 4x4 probably. So, yep, that's where we're at with that. So there's no way out. The law recently changed, or the code recently changed to the amount of space that gets renovated now is such a small amount of space that we have to do regardless. So less good news on that front, but we can do it in parts, and he's working on what that plan will look like, and we'll get money information to you guys by the fall.
Okay, great. Maybe some grants involved in that as well.
Yes. So that's where we're at. That's all I have. Unless you guys have other specific questions, go ahead. Still learning the job.
Kate, go ahead.
Thanks. I think it's obvious in your comments, but there's no risk of contamination, or they've addressed that there's no contamination concern with the water tanks if those materials are there.
Right. The asbestos, as long as the asbestos is untouched, there's no disruption to it. So
likewise with the PCB. That's great.
Yeah, the PCB is really just contained to that room. They did testing in a bunch of different spaces, and none of the other spaces had any levels whatsoever. So I can get the formal report to you guys at some point, Greg can, but yeah.
Thanks.
Amazing news. Yeah. All right, on to old business. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of June 12th, 2023.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Emily. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
I
I believe the ayes have it.
Aye, sorry.
The ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Approve financials. Do we have any?
I do not have the number.
Okay.
I did review them, but I do not have the number in front of me, and no way to pull it up. Dana's not here.
Uh-oh.
Give me a couple minutes.
Okay. Great. All right, we'll come back to that.
Sorry.
That's okay. Policy. F3 preparedness. I assume we'll want to look at these separately, adopt them separately.
And you guys have already
We warned them
you've already had a reading of these first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one, the F3 is unchanged from that last time. And this is, again, a required policy. State law.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to adopt F3.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Emily. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Her lips were moving.
All right, Kate, we'll give it a second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 I believe the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. All right, moving on to F4, access control.
So same thing there, but one thing that, and I don't know if I was at the meeting last time or not, but there was one element to this that maybe you guys talked about, maybe you didn't, but there's, this coming from the VSBA model policy, there's an optional statement under 2A, which gives the policy the ability to not have doors locked. And I don't know when you guys read it if you talked about that or not, but we left it in because we didn't know. So we would either have to strike that, and then I guess I would ask you guys, do you need to rewarn it because that was in the initial one that you read through, or can you strike through and adopt as is? That gives districts the option to have a different approach.
I don't remember having that conversation, but if we're going to make any changes to this, we would need to warn. And I'm actually, so I was unaware it made it optional. I don't remember, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong and we had a conversation, but I don't remember having it.
Yeah, the option is there if schools choose not to leave the structure locked, and they can describe what those reasons are. I mean,
does it just leave it open? So this is the policy. Does it leave you for the procedure the option to say, hey, we have a rock concert tonight. Let's leave the doors open so the kids can go back.
Yeah, I think when they put the word option like that in brackets, that it's the VSBA putting it out there, so it's supposed to catch your attention. This is something you have to talk about and adjust. Is my understanding of that. Maybe Emily can speak to that more. You've been more involved, but I think that's how they usually do it. Is that they give you, like, for example, at the top they have like insert district name here, and you have to insert your district name. You have to do that before you adopt it, obviously. But I think this is one of those situations because the number 2 just says they have to be locked during the day. End of conversation. To have an option to not leave them locked is something that you guys would have to specifically list what those conditions were and which buildings you're talking about, because they have blanks there, if that makes sense.
So by not inserting anything into that optional, are we just essentially rendering it null and void? We haven't said anything. There's no optional.
I mean, the cleaner one would be to just rewarn it or reread it and come back and just strike that line. I mean, I'll defer to you guys on that one. This is my second week, but that would be that's the much cleaner way to do it, I think. And it doesn't leave it out there for people to wonder, like, well, wait a minute, but it says they could leave it unlocked.
What is the optional?
Right, and why is there a blank line in our policy?
Okay.
It is my assumption that you want all the doors locked at all times during the school day, and therefore the option would not be something we go on the table. That's my assumption.
Right. Thoughts, Em? Or go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Go ahead.
Sure. Okay. No, I was just wondering, Bob, if you can think of any reasons the doors would need to be left unlocked during the school day that should be. I mean, I know I personally I'm not aware of any reasons, but there could be things that we aren't aware of.
Yeah, I think based on the description they give, if we were operating some kind of like a school farm or something, and the kids were going in and out of the building to the fields, or if there was an annex to the building that had kids were going back and forth between 2 buildings, or there was some other like unusual circumstance, I think that's what they're getting at. We have a buzzer system on C level and on A level that kids can just speak directly to the front desk if they need to get back in. And I think that's true in all the buildings. So, I mean, I don't think there's a need at all to have them unlocked. And I think it's, given the climate, I think it's better if we have them locked. They feel safe that way.
So something like a basketball game.
This is during the school day only.
School day.
Yeah, the policy is about school day only. So in the evening, like right now, the front door is open because we have a board meeting. So that's not covered by this policy.
Okay. All right. Folks, anybody disagree with taking the optional piece out?
I don't. I would recommend we remove A and rewarn it.
Okay. I would agree. Anybody disagree? All right. Guess we'll go ahead and do that and start over. There's no deadline on that in terms of.
I would assume by the start of the school year.
Okay.
Yeah, by the first school day, I guess we'll be fine.
Okay.
With an August meeting.
Or August, yeah, makes sense. Great. Okay.
Lori's trying to help me, but I'm not able to access my accounts payable drive on my phone. So she's trying, but
We need a
she's.
motion to read that. Like, remove option A and rewarn it.
Ah, fair point. Fair point.
I was like, Emily, was that a motion?
Fair point. Yes, I'll entertain that motion.
I will make that motion. I'm sorry. I should have put that in a motion to make things go faster. Sorry.
No problem. And a second?
Yes.
Joe, second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 And the ayes appear to have it. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Just do it.
Um,
Can Lori email you the number?
She's looking to email it to me. We've been communicating since I can't
Okay.
access accounts
Sorry.
payable, but she's not finding it the regular way. So we have a new accounts payable person.
got it.
And so, oh, maybe.
Oh.
I see little dots. Hold on.
Sorry, we're just waiting for that number for the financials.
Typing out something. I guess she found it.
Perfect. Heidi, after we get that number, did you have any public comment?
I don't.
You
I'm
don't.
just going to grab my folder because you're done with the regular meeting.
Yeah.
Yep. I will take my folder and go.
Okay.
The comment is bye.
Yeah, right. Very nice. Stay safe.
Our plan is to meet next month as well, right? Though.
Yeah, correct.
Go for it.
I do. Which is surprising. We're on a hill, generally it just kind of rolls right on by. But
Pump it right in the pool.
yeah, right.
I live on a hill and my road is called Hill and I always get flooding. So there we are.
Yeah, the ground is so saturated right now. It's just, yeah.
I've had 6 inches of rain. It came like so close to going across my driveway. My culvert was overfilled and so close to the top of my driveway that I thought I was going to lose my driveway, but it just receded in time.
Just help. Oh.
Yeah. Providence.
She got it?
No, she said she's not able to access it. So we will get it for the next meeting and we apologize.
And we're okay for that. We don't
Yeah.
need anything new. Okay.
I apologize. I have the number because I have the documents that I reviewed, but blazed in straight from Logan.
No
Okay.
problem.
All right,
Heidi, thank
thank
you for
you.
bringing that.
Yeah.
And thanks to everybody who will be signing that
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Heidi.
Heidi.
Yep.
Travel safe.
Okay. So we will move into executive session.
So,
I-
oh, you want to go?
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I make a motion for the board to enter executive session under Title I, Section 313 of the Vermont Statutes for academic records or suspension or discipline of students, 313A7.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. We will be in executive session shortly. All right, folks, we are out of executive session. And on our executive session item, we will not be taking action to approve the request. That's it. So, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I think Kate's got the second.
No, I have a question. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
The person, like the bell is ringing. I'm like, wait, but just a quick question. Forgive me, guys. I know what the day it is, but I just have a quick question. Bob, I heard you mention long-term planning meetings earlier, and I wondered if those are, could you just, are those board meetings?
No, so
Trying to hold us if this is something that was made public and I just missed it.
yeah, no. So what basically happened was at the last, I think it was our last board meeting in June, the board charged me, at my suggestion actually, that you guys were looking to have some sort of presentation to have ready that you would preview in August and then present in September, October, and then have some sort of a decision made around that would inform budget process. I just wanted to meet with some of the members of that group to kind of clarify my thinking about where that presentation was going to bring you guys something that was doable. As it turns out, only 2 people could join me, and I did not really get what I needed around clarity on that. So I'm going to talk with Al, I guess, off line and figure out what to next to look at. But you know, it's really about how you want me to define the presentation that I'm building for you guys to present. It's not my presentation, it's your presentation, so I want to be clear on what the presentation is and get some details nailed down. But it's a culmination of that work that's been going on for several years now. So, does that help?
Yeah, thanks for that. And I'm sorry to hold us up, but I do appreciate it.
No worries, no worries.
Kate, would you like to make that second?
Yes, my belated second, thanks.
It's okay. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
All right. See you all on August 14th.